Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star 2, Land of Origin based on novel. So let's start. The cave mansion that Emperor Qing rented was located in the inner city of Yulon City, which looked ordinary from the outside, but once inside, the space was enlarged by more than 10,000 times. Luo Feng and the other three walked in together. "I'll divide the space first," said Emperor Qing, as the massive interior space naturally split into sections, with two small spaces at the corners, a common courtyard in the middle, and the remaining space split into two equal halves. "You can decide how to build the interior space yourselves," Emperor Qing instructed. "I choose the left side. Then I'll take the right side." Emperor Ming and Di Fu, without any objections, actively chose the two corner spaces. Without any cost and being able to follow Emperor Qing and brother Luo He, they had their protection. What more could they hope for? They clearly understood that without Emperor Qing and brother Luo He, their survival in the city would be much more difficult, by hundreds or thousands of times. "I will send you detailed intelligence on Yulon City for your perusal," said Emperor Qing, as he walked towards his part of the space alone. Emperor Ming, Di Fu, and Luo Feng each entered their own spaces. "The place is not bad." Emperor Ming sensed the speed of energy absorption. "This absorption rate can reach 30% of my maximum speed." "Not bad. I'm stuck at a bottleneck in strength anyway, and my requirements for energy are quite low. Generally, maximal energy absorption occurs during rapid growth periods. Once the limit is reached, only a minimal amount of energy is absorbed to sustain life. The space is quite large." Luo Feng looked around the spacious area, and with a thought, energy began to converge and formed various palace buildings such as wine pavilions, quiet rooms, guest halls, and more. He then stepped to the highest part of the pavilion, happily took out a pot of wine, and while drinking, studied the intelligence on Yulon City. Yulon City is autonomously governed by cultivators. Yulon City is ruled by the Elder Hall, which currently has 3 Hall Masters and 327 Elders. Once you reach either the late-stage Divine Emperor Enlightened One, or half-primordial level combat power, you can apply to become an Elder. If you can partly drive Yulon City's defense system, you can become an Elder. If the driving extent is very high, you can even become a Hall Master. Luo Feng looked at the intelligence. Every Elder needs to enhance the defensive capabilities of Yulon City. The Elder Hall is really making contributions. Luo Feng observed the details closely. Once one becomes a member of the Elder Hall, they need to reside permanently within Yulon City. This ensures the city's defense. They cannot leave Yulon City. And those who can become members of the Elder Hall are strong enough to venture into the dark sacred realm. Every half-primordial powerhouse certainly aspires to break out of the braided cage, and only in the dark sacred realm can they find more opportunities to do so. Yet, members of the Elder Hall usually stay in the 9 Rivers sacred realm, and do not step out of Yulon City at all. So, those who can become members of the Elder Hall typically have avatars. They merely leave one avatar here. Their other avatars have already gone to the dark sacred realm, Luo Feng speculated. Having an avatar itself implies that the core rulers of Yulon City, the Elder Hall members, are probably all from the source world. Luo Feng deduced a lot of information. The strong from the myriad worlds, who lack avatars, and have sufficient strength, are not willing to stay in the 9 Rivers sacred realm all the time. Living in Yulon City, cultivators need 1 primordial crystal every epoch. They also need a residence. All places of residence in the city can only be rented, Luo Feng understood. These fees are the official income of Yulon City. They need to support a group of law enforcement cultivators. They need to maintain the city's defense system. The leftovers are then distributed among the 3 hall masters and 327 elders. This income must be very substantial to attract these powerful beings to keep their avatars here for a long time. Inside Yulon City, below Divine Emperor level is mainstream, amounting to hundreds of millions. Divine Emperor level, there are several million. Luo Feng looked at the intelligence. Among the enlightened one lineage, those who can perceive a complete great Tao generally don't find it difficult to become a divine emperor. But those who rely on their bloodline, while they might seem to grow easily, their growth's limit depends on their bloodline. If the bloodline isn't strong enough, they might always be stuck at the ultimate level of a godly king. Yulon City has intelligence organizations selling all the divine emperor's information. This intelligence costs 10,000 primordial crystals. Luo Feng was alarmed, he could not afford it. Moreover, the intelligence collected about these divine emperors might not be fully comprehensive. For example, since Luo Feng had just arrived in Yulon City, naturally, there was no detailed intelligence on him externally. Brother Luo He, Emperor Qing's voice came from afar. He approached the entrance of Luo Feng's space. Brother Emperor Qing, Luo Feng immediately opened the entrance. The intelligence on all divine emperors in Yulon City, quite expensive, isn't it? Emperor Qing came over and smiled, but even this can only gather information on about 90% of the divine emperors at most. Because there are some who quietly break through as divine emperors, and if they don't reveal themselves, it's difficult to learn their information. Even the information being sold only records what can be detected. Many divine emperors have hidden methods, Emperor Qing said, but no matter what, you might not need to buy it in the short term. However, over time, it's better to purchase a copy. Buying a copy of the intelligence lets you know about all the formidable existences hidden in Yulon City. It lets you know who not to provoke, Emperor Qing explained. Luo Feng understood. This intelligence is expensive and also contains a secret heart spell, prohibiting its dissemination, said Emperor Qing, so I cannot pass it to you. Luo Feng understood that gathering information on all the divine emperors in the entire city was no easy feat. If they sold merely a few copies, it would spread throughout the city. That would be a huge loss for the intelligence organization. Yulon City has abundant commercial and trade resources, Emperor Qing stated. Here, primordial crystals are needed everywhere. I'll lend you 100,000 primordial crystals for now. You can pay me back after our hunt, said Emperor Qing, as he waved his hand, causing a pile of 100,000 primordial crystals to fall beside him, glittering like brilliant crystal jade. Seeing this, Luo Feng was truly moved. Allowing him to stay in the cave mansion for free, even allocating half of the space to him. If one were to calculate the price, half the rental cost for 1,000 epochs would also be 50,000 primordial crystals. It felt like a gift. And now lending him so much. Just arriving in Yulon City, he was indeed at his poorest time. Emperor Qing, thank you, Luo Feng said without much ado. We just arrived in the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm. We're all in our greatest need of primordial crystals at this time. With primordial crystals, we can buy enough resources to strengthen ourselves, Emperor Qing said with a smile. Remember, when you go out to buy resources, Emperor Qing suddenly said earnestly, carry fewer primordial crystals with you each time. In Yulon City, with enough temptation, murder, robbery, theft, all sorts of things can happen. Even if you have life-saving means, but if the treasures are robbed, the loss is still substantial. I understand, Luo Feng nodded. Emperor Qing's intelligence already included detailed records. Murders and robberies occurred occasionally, while thefts and scams, since they didn't involve life-threatening situations and official punishments weren't too severe, were even more common. Carrying less means even if you are robbed, it's just like paying tuition, Emperor Qing sighed. The methods of theft in Yulon City are diverse and include tricks from various cultivation systems, many of which you have never seen before. Luo Feng nodded slightly. Only after familiarizing himself with the intelligence did Luo Feng leave the cave mansion alone to explore Yulon City, which he would be inhabiting for uncountable years to come. Heeding Emperor Qing's advice, he was very cautious and only carried 5,000 primordial crystals with him. With all 5 of my avatars complete, I don't believe I can't protect these 5,000 primordial crystals. Luo Feng tread carefully, not bringing any other secret treasures. The most valuable thing he had was the 5,000 primordial crystals. For this journey to the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm, Luo Feng had energy reserves worth 1,200 times that of a perfect divine body. The energy reserves left in the land of origin were minimal, but back home he was already invincible, and the avatar energies were sufficient. The 1,200 times perfect divine body energy reserve, Luo Feng's 5 avatars collectively had 200 times perfect divine body reserves, enabling him to reach his limits under normal conditions. The moment Luo Feng left the cave mansion, various colorful protective systems enveloped the entire Yulon city, controlled by 3 Hall Masters and 327 elders of the Elder Hall. Invisible and colorless fluctuations regularly swept across the city, and at this moment, swept past Luo Feng, too. In the core area of the inner city, there lay a huge cave mansion. Deep inside the cave mansion, a figure bathed in light sat there, his entire body seemingly forged from light, expressionless. A red diamond-shaped gem was positioned between his brows. Inside the diamond gem, massive amounts of information were being rapidly processed. Information about all the divine emperors throughout the city was being collected. New member entering the city, Luo Feng. Residence, 99179 Cave Mansion, Tianshui District, Inner City of Yulon City. Strength, suspected early stage of divine emperor. He shares a cave mansion with Emperor Qing, suspected to be from the same source world. Information about Luo Feng was among it. While this information was collected, it was also relayed to another mysterious entity. Inside a huge cave mansion in the inner city area of Yulon City, a massive spherical organism occupied the space. The surface of the spherical organism occasionally showed faces that were either howling, sleeping, filled with hatred, or laughing, and the surface also featured numerous holes. Countless holes, through which figures came and went. Luo Feng, a new divine emperor in the city. Living with Emperor Qing, he must not be poor. Let this newcomer feel the customs of Yulon City. He likely follows the most common system of the enlightened. We can let him experience the power of other systems. Mo Yada, this is up to you. A command was quickly issued. Huff. A short figure flew out from the numerous holes of the spherical organism. New divine emperor at the early stage. The short figure chuckled weirdly, and at that moment, their organization had already locked onto Luo Feng, who couldn't hide anywhere in the public areas of the city. Huff, the short figure went straight for Luo Feng's location. The merchants of Yulon City mainly operate in the inner city. Shortly after Luo Feng left his cave mansion, he arrived at a nearby merchant's. The interior space of the merchants was very spacious, with independent spaces, each displaying low-level primordial life remains for exhibition. This esteemed guest. An attendant proactively approached. I'll take a look first. Luo Feng wasn't in a hurry to buy, he planned to tour the entire city before making a purchase. The attendant smiled and said, "Esteemed guest, our business specializes in low-level primordial life remains. These remains can be used for cultivation insights. Some large remains can be used for artifact refining, alchemy, body refinement, and even for extracting complete primordial bloodlines. There are quite a number of remains." Luo Feng observed the densely arranged independent spaces, with more than 10 attendants waiting in various places, with formations also in operation. We have a total of 11,341 types of remains here, all low-level primordial life. The attendant by his side continued. Our business has collected at least 70% of the low-level primordial species from the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm. Luo Feng's biomimetic eye of destruction was already open, carefully observing each piece of remains. The cultivators of Yulon City employed various methods of observation. As long as they didn't break into the independent spaces to grab the remains, the attendants wouldn't mind any manner of observation. Innate primordial life black cloud devouring space beast, at the strength level of the early stages of Divine Emperor, is considered rather weak, Luo Feng observed. Here, there were 12 parts of the black cloud devouring space beast for sale. Some parts, like a scale, a bone, or a vial of blood, suitable for cultivation in sites, were priced at only 100 to 500 primordial crystals each. However, for items like a large intact claw, the major tendon that ran through the entire body, or a refined complete bloodline, these three materials were all priced at 20,000 primordial crystals. The most valuable was a complete life core, which required 100,000 primordial crystals. This innate primordial life has a life core that's actually intact. Luo Feng was somewhat surprised. Innate primordial lives have life cores. Just as the source world has the source ground, this life core is like the source core of innate source life. Once destroyed, they would perish, which was the most common method of slaying them. It was quite rare to slay one while preserving the life core. To think that an innate primordial life would be disassembled and sold like this. Luo Feng secretly sighed, with bloodlines being extracted, used for alchemy, artifact refining, used in various ways. But this was also quite normal. Cultivators groped their way in the dark, wanting to escape the confines of the braided cage. The best way was to study these innate primordial lives that had already escaped the confines. Luo Feng strolled from one shop to another. No matter where he went, with his life aura reaching that of an early-stage divine emperor, the attendants of these merchants were very enthusiastic. Weapon secret treasures. Luo Feng also saw the prices of various secret treasures. For those early-stage divine emperor secret treasures, they were generally used by those at the ultimate realm of godly king. A casual strike from Luo Feng was much more powerful than those secret treasures. Prices for secret treasures generally started from 2,000 primordial crystals. Middle stage divine emperor, late stage divine emperor, perfect stage divine emperor. The prices of weapon secret treasures naturally skyrocketed at different levels. For innate secret treasures, the prices were even higher. It turns out I'm quite rich. Luo Feng was secretly shocked when he saw the prices of innate secret treasures, realizing the expensiveness of the innate secret treasure palm world. Of course, this treasure was partly used to protect the Blade River sect, and on the other hand, he was still too weak to bring it with him. In any city of the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm, there are those who kill, plunder, and steal, an attendant said. This space-related secret treasure illusion realm maze can be integrated into the body. Treasures hidden inside, hardly anyone in the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm can steal. Many powerful divine emperors almost all have one. Illusion realm maze. Luo Feng looked at this secret treasure. What's the price? Not expensive, 100,000 primordial crystals each. And this is the unified price throughout the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm, the attendant said with a smile. Luo Feng turned and left. Those divine emperors with a bit more accumulation could afford it, but Luo Feng had just arrived in the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm, and the 100,000 primordial crystals he had were lent to him by Emperor Qing. Why would he use them to buy a space storage item, just to prevent theft? There are also many treasures that assist in cultivation. Luo Feng looked at one after another rare treasure. The treasures of the 9 rivers sacred realm were all extracted from the essences of various innate primordial life creatures. Consuming them would aid in cultivation. Their effects were far superior to primordial crystals. But the better the treasure, the higher the price. This secret treasure is called Wuxiang God Weapon. It can imprint any secret pattern. As long as you imprint precisely, it can immediately mimic any kind of secret treasure. With it, you can try to imprint one after another different secret treasures, able to change at will. The attendant explained eagerly, it is suitable for battle on one hand, and on the other hand, it verifies cultivation insights. Luo Feng's interest was piqued. His own insights into the deep patterns of the Star Tower, and the Eye of Life and Death, could all be tried for imprinting. What's the price? Luo Feng asked. 50 million primordial crystals each, the attendant grinned, giving a number that made Luo Feng's heart tremble. More expensive than many innate secret treasures. Luo Feng couldn't help saying, many perfect divine emperor level secret treasures are only several million primordial crystals. This price could buy an entire set of perfect divine emperor level secret treasures. The attendant smiled and said, those powerful divine emperors, many possess world-level primordial life remains. To grasp the mysteries of the remains and imprint them on the Wuxiang God Weapon. To verify their own enlightenment. This is not something a set of perfect divine emperor-level secret treasures can compare to. Luo Feng sighed inwardly. Too many temptations. Treasures to assist cultivation, some suitable remains of innate primordial life related to life, destruction, and even integration of life and death, as well as some suitable secret treasures. Luo Feng had seen a lot. But he was too poor. No hurry, the first day is purely for strolling around Yulon City. I'll make my move on the second day. Luo Feng had strategic patience, and one day's wait didn't matter. He discovered that some famous secret treasures like Wuxiang godly weapons and Illusion Realm Maze had uniform prices across many merchants. However, for remnants, prices varied between shops. Some were willing to sell at a lower price. Luo Feng had to consider how to get the right cultivation materials for himself at a lower price. Poor, too poor. Don't even talk about 100,000 yuan of primordial crystals. Give me 1 billion yuan of primordial crystals, it still wouldn't be enough. Luo Feng was flying within Yulon City, and at a glance, there were many cultivators around him, but Luo Feng didn't notice a small figure in the distance. The small figure in the distance, upon seeing Luo Feng, couldn't help but chuckle. Luo Feng. A newcomer at the early stage of Divine Emperor. The small figure had an idea and immediately made a move. Luo Feng was flying above the inner city, an area with hidden dragons and crouching tigers, with hundreds of elders maintaining the defensive systems of Yulon City, and various defense systems in operation, which also put pressure on Luo Feng. Buzz. It was as if a breeze brushed past Luo Feng. What's going on? Luo Feng was startled. It seemed like a breeze. But something felt off to Luo Feng. It's as if someone made a move against me, and yet not. Luo Feng himself was uncertain, as he slightly furrowed his brows and looked around, becoming more vigilant and on guard. The small figure in the distance was quite surprised. This new guy, how is he not quite like the traditional enlightened? He has a bit of the feeling of a low-level primordial life, having cultivated his body into a world body, with a world hidden inside, treasures all kept within that world. Although primordial bloodline cultivators might explode with stronger combat power and have formidable physical bodies, their control over themselves is not that perfect. Luo Feng's body gave the impression of an entire complete and vast world. While maintaining stealth, his secret technique swept across Luo Feng's entire body, but was unable to forcefully penetrate a whole world. Thinking that by hiding in a world, I won't be able to do anything. The small figure let out a cold laugh, opened its mouth, and a blood-colored bug flew out. Good treasure, go into his world and take all the treasures. The small figure controlled the blood-colored bug with a thought, and struck again. Quietly stealing had failed. Then, it would forcibly steal. Whoosh! The blood-colored bug instantly disappeared from sight, ignoring Luo Feng's physical body, and burrowed into his inner world. In the distant sky, Luo Feng, who was on high alert, immediately sensed it. Back in the land of origin, he had cultivated 9 forms of primordial bloodline creatures, and had chosen 5 of them. They were also his 5 avatars for facing various dangers in the 9 Rivers sacred realm. What he usually manifested outside was one of the 5 avatars, the World Avatar. This avatar was thick-skinned and fleshed, immensely strong, with tenacious life force, capable of handling many harsh situations. This avatar had an inner world. It was the closest to the world life form lineage. The more energy it possessed, the greater its power. Therefore, the world avatar has 100 times the energy reserve of the perfect divine body, while the energy reserves of the other 4 avatars weren't so high. Sure. An invisible fluctuation instantly burrowed into the inner world, and the inner world naturally sensed it. The stronger the world avatar, the more stable the inner world. It's quite stable, but too bad, my treasure excels at devouring space. The blood-colored bug instantly unleashed a wave of energy, sweeping across the entirety of the inner world, trying to take away all the treasures within. Inside the inner world, at this moment, the other 4 avatars sat cross-legged, each of them bearing Luo Feng's likeness, just with different colors of robes. HMPH. The Heaven and Earth avatar snorted coldly, instantly dissolving and merging with the entire inner world. Merge with Heaven and Earth. The world membrane was as if it was the flesh of the Heaven and Earth avatar, their mysteries perfectly integrated with the world, and their might surged dramatically. The blood-colored bug felt the already terrifying inner world suddenly increase its pressure and binding force by more than 10 times. To it was as if it had been in water before, easily moving through it. But now, it was as if it was trapped in glue, completely stuck. His inner world has no treasures. The blood-colored bug used its secret technique to sweep the entire inner world, but found that it had come up empty. Trying to steal. The remaining 3 avatars inside the inner world all looked at it. The 5,000 yuan of primordial crystals were carried by the Time Avatar. The Time Avatar existed simultaneously in the past, present, and future. The 5,000 yuan of primordial crystals were currently on the future body of the Time Avatar. The 5,000 yuan of primordial crystals I have are hidden in the inner world and protected by the Time Avatar. And they are hidden with the future body of the Time Avatar. The inner world is also guarded by the Heaven and Earth Avatar. If they are still stolen under these circumstances, I have nothing to say, and I'll just consider it paying tuition. Luo Feng had been warned early on, and was naturally very careful and vigilant. Who said he is a traditional enlightened? Seeing that things were looking bad, the blood-colored bug immediately concealed itself and disappeared. Boom. It slammed into the membrane of the inner world, but was unable to break out. After the inner world and the Heaven and Earth Avatar merged, the sturdiness of the world membrane increased more than tenfold. Not good, I can get in, but can't get out. The blood-colored bug immediately realized that it was in trouble. In reality, Brother Tomato is a great fan of martial arts, and has written a martial arts novel called Fubo Records, with 600,000 words before it went online. If interested, everyone can take a look. This video will end here.